Today we're going to be learning about emergent literacy and phonological awareness. Emergent literacy really takes place in the early years of a child's life, and really they're considered the basic building blocks for learning to read and write. Many children learn these at home and in a preschool, and by the time they get to kindergarten, they have a lot of these skills mastered. So students who really don't get the interaction at home or may not have had a great preschool experience may lack some emergent literacy skills. Here are the emergent literacy skills. Here are some of them. This is not a comprehensive list, but it certainly gives you an idea of what is included in each one of those. So with emergent literacy, we need to recognize that not all of those skills are important, and they're not all going to look like authentic reading. Sometimes it's going to look like a child has memorized something, or maybe that they're just playing with a book or something like that. But we really think that those particular skills are important to developing literacy. So the big ideas of emergent literacy are oral language, phonological processing, and print knowledge. Why are they so important? Why are oral language skills so important? Because you really have a difficult time learning to read words if you don't know them. And how do you learn about words? Through words that you hear, words that are used on an everyday basis. Phonological processing is the basis for our reading, and it has to do with sounds. Of course, the first part of that word, phono, is all about sound. It's processing those sounds. The last statement down there, almost all poor readers have problems with phonological processing. They do because they have trouble saying or hearing the correct sounds that are in the words. Many times our ELL students will also struggle with phonological processing, and you can understand why. Let's talk about print knowledge. So print knowledge is basically like knowing how a book is set up, understanding that there's a title on the front and the book has a spine and you open it a certain way, and that you read a book top to bottom, left to right. All of those kinds of things have to do with print knowledge. Also understanding that there are these symbols that we call letters, and those letters make sounds, and when put together they make meaning. That's very important. A preschool child cannot read any particular print, but they sure know that it makes meaning. And you will find many preschool children or students learning to read early on in their lives. They kind of fake read a book, and it's because the book has been read to them numerous times, or perhaps the pictures are telling them the story. Print knowledge can be very difficult because sometimes letters can represent multiple sounds. When we look at emergent literacy overall, we need to look at it with this diagram in mind. So oral language and knowing the sounds are a part of learning to decode, which we will talk about later in phonics. And you must be able to decode in order to read and comprehend. So emergent literacy plays a huge part in reading comprehension. Phonological awareness and phonemic awareness are two things that are often confused. Phonological awareness is a very broad skill and includes many things, including phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness is a part of phonological awareness. Phonemic awareness has to do with the individual phonemes or sounds within a word, such as the word mat. It has 3 phonemes, m, a, t. So those are the phonemes, and being able to hear those phonemes and manipulate them is called phonemic awareness, and that is a part of phonological awareness. So phonological awareness has to do with many things. It has to do with recognizing sounds at a word level, like listening or alliteration. It has to do with rhyming and blending, and it has to do with syllables, and then finally segmentation of the phonemes. And it gets progressively more difficult. This is the progression of what we call the phonological continuum. The continuum starts very broad and gets more complex. It starts with recognizing words, which includes listening and alliteration, then moves to syllables, recognizing how many syllables are in a word, being able to count them or clap them out, then moving on to onset and rhyme. Onset and rhyme has to do with the beginning sound of a word and then the sound from the first vowel on. So it's the short one-syllable words, such as the word cat. K is the onset and at is the rhyme. We can make many words that we call word families from just manipulating the onset and leaving the rhyme the same. So we can turn cat into at, mat, or f, at, fat. Phonemes have to do with the individual sounds in those words. So mat, again, has 3 phonemes, a, t. And big has 3 phonemes, b, I, g. The word fish also has 3 phonemes, f, I, sh. Do not be confused by the number of letters in a word with the number of phonemes, because many times they do not match. Here again are the levels of phonological awareness in the phonological continuum, just explained a little different way to help you better understand. So the development of phonological awareness begins, like I said, really in infancy, being read to, but you can see this progress on the chart. Why is phonological awareness important in learning to read? It strongly supports learning how the words in our language are represented in print. There are many kinds of activities and games that we use in the classroom for developing phonological awareness. A lot of listening games, rhyming games or activities, using sentences and words and playing with those. Also syllables, learning more about those syllables, even compound words, and then being able to identify initial and final sounds through games and activities. Phonemes, the activities for phonemes will typically take place during the 2nd semester of kindergarten. So they ask the students to pronounce individual sounds in words and use activities to teach the children to blend those sounds together to make words. There are some resources that I've placed in the syllabus that can also help you with understanding how English language learners can have difficulty with phonological awareness and how you can help them as a teacher. Here's another article that can help you understand how dialects can play a part. There are specific things that we target when working with phonological awareness and specific things that we assess. Again, it's the phonological continuum. It's the word, syllable, onset, rhyme, and then the phonemic awareness. When giving phonological awareness assessments, it might look something like this. We're going to ask the students if the two words rhyme. So we're not going to show the students the words. They don't see anything. I fondly say that phonological awareness can be done in the dark because you're not looking at anything. There are no letters attached. The teacher is just reading this. The students are listening. So if you want to practice this, you could cover up the screen and listen to what I say. All right? I'm going to read each pair of words, and I want you to tell me, answer yes if they rhyme or no if they do not. Bed, fed. Top, hop. Run, soap. Hand, sand. Funny, bunny. Girl, giant. Lid, hid. Mess, yell. Fell, fun. Skip, hip. That is just an example of one type of phonological awareness assessment. Again, make sure you do all the readings and watch the videos on emergent literacy and phonological awareness.